but I don't see myself, and that's okay.
Okay, I'm picking up from where we left off on Tuesday. And Clarissa, the answer to your text message is that video from Tuesday is on the Survive to Thrive Facebook page. So if you go there, you'll find it there. Posted that, I think, yesterday. So if you don't see it, just let me know. I just want to share with you that what I wrote down from the video we just watched, just to give you some insight into how I take notes and what I'm looking for when I'm watching a video like that. So here's what I wrote down. We wait in life for things to get easier. True. It never gets easier. True. The solution is to handle hard better. Boy, if you didn't write that down, please write it down. Handle hard better. You know, I've said to you guys many, many times before that adversity is preparation for greatness. Well, adversity is also preparation for adversity. The more you face in your life, the more prepared you are for adversity. And if this, think of someone that you know, and it's not good or bad, it just is, that things came easy for them, or it looked like things came easy for them. And then all of a sudden they were faced with major adversity later in life, and they just weren't prepared for it, versus someone who's faced adversity over and over again. You get better at handling hard. So handle hard better. Don't wait for easy. It ain't coming.
I have a very close example of that, John. My wife, she has demonstrated life, even though it has been hard for her, but she handled it as a piece of cake.
There you go.
But a year and a half ago, she was diagnosed with cancer, and that was something she was not prepared to handle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manny. So thank you for sharing that. Really means a lot. And we've all been through those experiences, right? I share all the time, you know, Lacey's my hero. I watch this young lady and everything that she's doing and everything, and the woman that she's become. And I think back to that little 14-year-old girl who was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the next 2 years of her life were just pure hell. And, you know, now she's in school. So anybody who's seen the movie, The Sound of Freedom, and if you haven't seen it, please go see it. Lacey's in school to become her passion, her vision is she wants to work in the special forces in human trafficking. And I'm watching this movie going, no, I don't want you doing that. But that's what God called her to do. So that's what she's going to do. And she lives every day knowing that this cancer could come back, right? You talk about appreciating life, changing the way you look at things. It's incredible. All right. The other thing I wrote down is anything meaningful in life is going to be hard. You know, mediocrity is where most people live their lives, and they live their lives in mediocrity because everything flows to the middle. It's just doing what you want to do. It is one path to get to mediocrity. Not doing things because they're uncomfortable, or not doing things because they're painful, or settling for less than you're capable of are all paths to mediocrity. The path to greatness, on the far right of the scale, the 10 on the scale of 10, it's hard. It's always hard. It's never not going to be hard. All right. So Tuesday, I asked you to create a couple coaching models for me. One was the GROW model, GROW, down the left side of the sheet of paper. And if you did your homework between Tuesday and today, you wrote your goals. You wrote your goals that you had set at the beginning of the year for where you wanted to be the end of 2023. Now, the R is reality. It's where are you today, right? And one of the coaching questions I ask is, what's track? Or are you tracking? And all that simply means is if your goal was to close 36 sales, well, in order to be on track, you should have closed 18 by the end of June. Now, if you close 12, what's the gap? It's 6. So the second half of the year, the goal is not to close 18 sales, it's to close 24. So what are the obstacles, that's the O, that are standing between where you wanted to be and where you are? What are the obstacles that are standing between where you want to be and where you are? And W is the way forward, or it's the prescription. Now, the other model that we worked on, and I think this is one of my favorite models, okay? Positive present, future present, positive present negative, future negative. And everybody wants to go directly from present positive to future positive, okay? And it just doesn't work that way. That would be the easy button, right? And there are no easy buttons in life. You know, Staples may have an easy button, I guess, but we don't. And in order to get to future positive, we have to look at present negative. The path is through present negative. Now, in other words, we have to look at what are our obstacles? What's standing between where we are today and where we want to be? We have to look at the obstacles, and then we have to have a prescription to remove those obstacles. In other words, what's the plan going to be? And I wrote at the bottom of this, nothing equals future negative. Now, believe it or not, nothing is the path that most people take. They look at those obstacles and they start negotiating with themselves. Life is pretty good. I'm doing okay. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I don't want to change. Safety versus fear. If I'm looking at making a change in order to get to future positive, and the change could go one of two ways, or I could end up in future positive, which is amazing, or I can fall flat on my face and fail. And where I'm at right now is okay. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I'm doing okay. So I'm going to choose to stay where I am, even though it's not where I want to be. But it's better than the alternative that could possibly happen is if I take that risk and I take that leap of faith. You know, it's not a leap of fear, it's a leap of faith. And how do I know this is true? Is because part of my job description is recruiting real estate agents. And I never talk about that on this call because that's not the point. But when I'm talking to real estate agents, the most common thing I hear is I'm comfortable and I'm happy. Right? Yeah. And here's what I know. I'm comfortable and I'm happy means I don't like change. I don't want to do things that are uncomfortable, even if it means living a better life. I'd rather take and boy, nobody get offended on this. I'd rather stay in the mediocre life I'm in than to risk losing everything I have. So I choose nothing. Nothing leads to future negative. Here's future negative. Future negative is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I'm in exactly the same place I am today. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not okay with me. And the older I get, the more real this becomes. So, you know, at 60 years old, I look at the next 10 years as my last 10 years. Now, do I mean that it's the last 10 years of my life? Maybe. I don't know. But it's definitely the last 10 years of my professional career. I've got 10 years to get this right. And I know what the vision is. I know where I want to be 10 years from now. I have one goal, and it's to create legacy wealth for my family. That's it. That's the vision. In 10 years, I will have created legacy wealth for my family so that my family is taken care of for the rest of their life. Monica's taken care of, Colin's taken care of, Lacey's taken care of, Braden's taken care of. If I hit my goal 10 years from now, Braden never has to work a day in his life if he doesn't want to. he's certainly never going to struggle financially because I'm going to set him up for life. That's the vision. That's the future positive. Now, I could choose to not make a change. And trust me, there's been times where I did. And if I choose not to change, I'm going to be where I am right now. And there's got to be a point in your life where that's not okay anymore. So what I want to do now is I want to dive deep on those obstacles. And I'm going to tell you that as real estate agents, you all have one obstacle in common. That one obstacle is listings. Listings will fix everything. Every single one of you, without me going through and asking you individually, which I could do, as I'm looking at my screen, I could ask Valerie, I could ask Deborah, I could ask Chandra, Gina, Nathan, Charlene, Raul. I could ask every single one of you. I can ask Clarissa, I could ask Angel. Are you on track to take the number of listings that you wanted to take at the beginning of the year? And I bet that almost every single one of you, I'm going to go with 98% of you, the answer is going to be no. Okay. How do I know that? I train and coach real estate agents. So I talk to real estate agents every day, not just this group, but real estate agents, and nobody's on track. Matter of fact, if I were to go into Market View Broker, which is one of the tools that I use, I have 54,000 agents in my local MLS here, and I look at their production year over year. 90% of them are down from where they were a year ago. 90% of them. All of them are having the same struggle. And if you ask real estate agents, what's your number one challenge? They're all going to say the same thing: no inventory. Now, you can fix that. Here's the prescription. Who do you know is thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Please write it down. It's the simplest script I'm ever going to teach you. Who do you know is thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, who should you ask that question to? Ready? Write this down. Everyone. You're standing in line at Publix. Tap the person on the shoulder in front of you. Hey, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? You think I'm kidding? I'm not. If you will get into the habit of asking everyone you know, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home? Remember, you're looking for seller listings, so get rid of that. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell? No, you're looking for listings. All right. The Aladdin Factor. Read that book. You get what you ask for. If you're asking for buyers, you're going to get more buyers. And if you want more buyers, that's fine. But if you're getting more buyers and then there's no inventory, what are you going to sell them?
Nothing.
Okay. You want to control the inventory. When you are a listing agent, everybody else works for you. You guys understand that? You own the inventory and everybody else sells it, which means all of those buyer agents are working for you, selling your inventory. Get into your database. Call everybody in your database. Care call conversations, yes. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. But I want you to get in there and ask them, hey, Manny, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? How hard is that? It's going to shock you. But if you do this, you're going to talk to people who say, I am.
John, and it's not just your sphere of influence or the people in your database. It's anyone you come across. You have to ask that question.
There you go.
I did that to a gentleman at the bank this past Friday. I already met with him yesterday.
There you go. There you go. Walk the neighborhood. Walk every neighborhood in your market. Knock on doors. Talk to people. Hi, my name is John Dietz. I'm a real estate agent with Blank Real Estate Company. As you know, there's hardly any homes for sale. I don't think there's any for sale in your neighborhood. We have buyers that want to move into your neighborhood. Who do you know is thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, that's the more complicated version. You want to make it simple? Knock on the door. Hi. My name is Blank with Blank Real Estate Company. Just curious, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? They slam the door in your face. Cool. Go to the next house. Knock on the door, Charlene. Who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, pay attention to the conversation, because what am I looking for? Am I looking for people who are thinking of selling their home now? No, I'm not. I'm looking for people who are thinking of selling their home, period. I don't care if it's next week, next month, next year, or 5 years from now. Every single one of those leads is worth the same amount of money to me. If the average commission check is $10,000, every person that I speak to that says, yeah, me, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, maybe 5 years from now, cool, $10,000. All I've got to do is follow up systematically in order to create emotional proximity so that when they're ready, I'm the agent. Get into public records. Start looking for people who are behind on their mortgage. How will you know? There's going to be a Liz pendants filed on their home. Call them. Hi, this is blank. I'm a real estate agent with blank, and I specialize in helping homeowners avoid foreclosure. And I was just curious, who do you know that might be behind on their mortgage? Visit your local assisted living facilities. Find the director of sales. Talk to that director of sales. Get in relationship with that director of sales and ask them, who's moving in 90 days from now that needs to sell their home? How many real estate agents do you think are going into these assisted living facilities and asking these questions? The answer is none. Be the one. You're going to find seller listings. Get in touch with local attorneys who handle divorce. Who do you know that needs to sell their home? The obstacle that you're all facing, every single one of you, is seller listings. The answer is either lead generation or it's lead conversion. It's lead generation if you're not hitting your daily standard for conversations. What's your daily standard? Well, that's up to you. If you've been averaging 2 or 3 contacts a day, well, then push it to 5. Push it to 5 for a week. Talk to 5 people every single day. Include, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Okay, by the way, why next 6 months? Because that contradicts what I said, right? 5 years. If you ask a broad question, it's going to be hard for them to answer. Okay, the more narrow the question, the easier it is for them to answer. If I ask you, who do you know that's thinking of selling your home, selling their home? They're going to think immediately or not at all. In other words, you're going to get fewer answers. Well, so-and-so is, or I am. When you say 6 months, it's more narrow. So if I'm thinking a year from now, I'm not going to say no one. I'm going to say, well, me, but not for another year. Okay. So 5 contacts. When you get to 5 and you're hitting that standard, push it to 10. And when you get to 10 and you're hitting that number, push it to 15. Keep going until the number of conversations equals an appointment. All right, make sure you heard that right. Keep pushing the number of conversations until the number of conversations equals 1 appointment for that day. It might take 30, it might take 40, it might take 100. But if you're motivated to be successful in this business and it takes 100, then that's what you're going to have to do. Quit waiting for things to be easier and do hard better. Now, if I told every single one of you here, hey, listen, I'll make a promise to you. If you'll talk to 40 people a day, I brought it down for you, it's not 100. If you'll talk to 40 people a day, you'll list 1 home every week, which means you'll take 52 seller listings in the next 12 months. And you'll sell 100 homes. Would you be willing to talk to 40 people a day? Yes, you would. Then the next question would be, why aren't you? Now, if lead generation is not the challenge, you're having the number of conversations that you should be having in order to remove that obstacle, then the next challenge is lead conversion. Everything in real estate is fixed with either lead generation or lead conversion. It's always going to be one of those two things. Lead conversion simply means, John, I'm talking to 40 people a day, but I'm still not getting appointments. Okay, we need to work on your scripts. We need to get better at converting calls to appointments. We need to get better at overcoming objections. We need to get better at converting appointments to listings taken. We need to get better. All right, I'll stop. You have one obstacle, listings. Fix that, and everything else will take care of itself. All right, guys, talk to me.
I'll leave the floor open